Hello everybody, I'm here in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island with my friend Lynne McTaggart, and we're at the Science and Spirituality Conference where Lynne's speaking. But we took a moment because she's got a really exciting course coming up, and it's a course for healers based on her book The Power of Eight. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the upcoming course.
Really loving this harbor. It's beautiful.
It is.
This is a webinar, a three-part webinar, is designed for alternative practitioners of all varieties, whether they are the standard kind of alternative practitioners, you know, acupuncturists, healers like Reiki masters, people like that, but also nurses and doctors too. And my experience is that even the best healers, the people who really want their patients to be well, don't realize that they are a leaky bucket. Their thoughts are pouring out of them at every moment, and every judgment they hold, every diagnosis they make can affect the healing process, and oftentimes negatively. So this is really designed to help the healers become much more conscious of what they're thinking and make that much more constructive.
And it's based on the Power of Eight book we recently had you on our show on Conversations talking about. But I think it's really such an amazing thing. You did these large, huge things for years, and then you found that this intention, that you wrote a whole book on intention, with a group of 8 people could be incredibly powerful in healing, but not just for the person that's getting the healing work, but the people who are giving it. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I've been doing these big intention experiments for years, but with a workshop I started about 10 years ago now, I just decided to experiment by putting people in groups of 8. It was really just by accident, and I found these amazing healing effects, not only among the recipients, as you say, Michael, but also among the senders. And I have run hundreds and hundreds of these workshops now, and I found in every situation we have these extraordinary healings. I just had a recent workshop at a conference where a woman had come in with a dislocated shoulder, and the shoulder snapped back into place during this process. I had a guy who was a Vietnam veteran who was actually just one of the senders who had suffered from terrible depression, and the next day he woke up and he had this extraordinary healing, and now that depression has lifted. He's had a whole new lease on life, and things are extraordinary for him. So it's both the senders and the receivers. And the most powerful thing of all is how much this gets magnified in the groups. So the plan with my webinar, Become a Better Healer, is to marshal this group of 8 among your patients or even in your team to amplify your effect, to heal your patients, heal yourself.
I love that. We've had some amazing experiences just in our little group on the Sunshine Coast here. And we were talking earlier about how we often think of ourselves as healers to having a lot of answers and diagnosis and all of that. There's something very unique about this kind of work where you transcend what you already know and open to something that's possible beyond that, beyond the patterns, beyond the ideas that are the right way to do this medicine. So I felt when you were talking about it that it was just something I wanted to share with people that are healers, because often I know from my case as a healer, I'm a wounded healer, and I know most of the people that are really doing good work have had that kind of wounding. Can you say a little bit about the wounded healer and this Power of Eight work?
Sure. I mean, we oftentimes gravitate toward work that we need the most ourselves. And I've met so many healers who were ill, and in the course of getting better in that whole healing journey, it changed their view of what they should be doing in their lives. And so they wanted to help other people. And it's really just about helping them to become more conscious. So the healing, the part of the power of 8 that is so powerful is that it heals the healers. And so in being part of this group, in being part of an altruistic act, and that's the real key here, Michael. The reason this is so powerful, I've studied it scientifically, we've done brain studies, is it loses that sense of separation, makes you part of something larger, and also activates certain parts of your body that become a virtuous circle of healing for yourself. It activates a thing called the vagus nerve, the longest nerve in your body, that has a powerful healing effect on the immune system. So what I think this is, the reason I think this is so different is that a healer is an altruistic person to begin with, but this is using it in a way that also is healing for the healer himself. The other thing that's so important about this workshop is being able to help the thinking process of the recipient, help the thinking process of the patient, because we don't think about that, but so many patients are stuck in a negative mindset. They don't mind being in pain. What they mind is the idea that it's never going to get better. And so you need, as a healer, to work with them in different kinds of thinking processes, because that itself is affecting their healing process. So you need to get them to practice feeling well, to see themselves, to do some, I work with retro intention, but also future intention of seeing what it's going to be like to be well, to be whole again, and just creating that self for them. And that's a process you both do as partners.
I love that. Since you brought up retro intention, one of my favorite subjects, maybe you could just give us a little explanation about that and future intention. But
sure.
Retro is a little more difficult for people to grasp sometimes.
Well, in this 3-part webinar, we're also going to do some stuff on retro intention, and I've done a lot of work with this. I mean, you really have to take on board that in quantum physics, the work that I write about, there isn't this whole idea of linear time. Time is not a forward-going arrow. It's much more like one great big smeared out now. And from that perspective, it is possible to go back to the seed moments, that moment when a person first got their illness, where it could have gone either way, and speak back to that moment and actually affect it going forward. It won't necessarily affect what did happen. It affects what's going to happen going forward, because we know from quantum physics, as I say, that the future affects the present as it's unfolding. So imagining something different, whether backward in time or forward in time, can affect the present as it unfolds. So we're going to be doing some practice with that too, Michael.
Wonderful. Well, why don't you give us some of the details about the workshop, how people can find out more, when it is?
Sure. People can find out more by coming onto my website. That's lynnmctaggart.com. It's going to be run, it's 3 webinars, so it's going to be run on Zoom, and it's the 23rd of June, and then we have one in midweek, and then the 30th of June. So it's all run over 8 days. And of course it'll be recorded, there's plenty of downloads with it, and you're going to have some homework too.
Well, I can't wait. It's very exciting. I love that you're focusing specifically to healers too, but we're all, in a sense, healers, maybe for our family or our children. So it's great for anybody who wants to learn more about the power of 8 and how to apply it.
Great, thank you. And if you click on my front page of my website, lynnmctaggart.com, you'll see a big banner for Become a Better Healer with the Power of 8. You can find out more and find out about the whole course.
Great. Thanks so much, Lynn. Thanks all for listening. We will be back soon. Take care.
Thank you.